Hi there, my name is Sasha Lightborn, and over the next few weeks I'll be giving you, the business community, some quick tidbits about what you need to know about value-added tax. Now, today's session will focus solely on VAT registration. By now, you should know that VAT is a tax that will be charged on all goods and most services sold in the Bahamas. It will also be charged on goods and some services that are imported from outside the Bahamas. A business will also pay VAT on goods and services it buys from its local suppliers. If you are in business with taxable supplies, and I'll explain those terms later, it's mandatory that you register if you make taxable supplies and the total sales for the previous 12 months has exceeded a specific limit called the VAT threshold. Now, that limit is $100,000 of your taxable supplies. Or if at the beginning of any 365-day period you consider that the total value of your taxable supplies will exceed the VAT threshold in the next 365 days. So if you are in business and your goods are taxable supplies, you will be required to register within 14 days of meeting the requirements. You can also register for VAT as a group, but I'll explain what that means in a bit. Registration began on October 13th. Now, here are some important questions you may be asking. Firstly, what does in business mean? Well, what that means is that you are carrying on any continuing taxable supplies activity, which is mainly concerned with making supplies to others in return for consideration. Business can include the admission to a premises for a charge, some activities of charities and nonprofit organizations, or self-employed people carrying on any trade, vocation, or profession, as well as companies, partnerships, and corporate entities. Now, you may also be wondering what is meant when I say taxable supplies. Your taxable supplies are simply the goods and services that you offer to the public in exchange for payment. The value of your supplies are the sales or revenue that you earn. This is what we refer to as your turnover. Taxable supplies then are goods and services supplied, offered in return for payment, usually in the form of money or goods or services provided. Taxable supplies can also be any sale made in the course of operating your business, a sale made in the Bahamas or outside the Bahamas, subject to VAT either at the standard rate of 7.5% or 0%. Now, once you've registered, you will be issued a certificate of registration and a tax identification number or TIN. These are extremely important as your certificate must be displayed at your business in a place where customers can see that you're registered for VAT. Your TIN should also be quoted on all sales invoices and receipts and has to be used when corresponding with the VAT department. Now, back to VAT grouping. VAT grouping permits a group of entities, companies, partnerships, or individuals to apply to be treated as a single taxable person for VAT purposes with a single tax identification number for the group. The VAT registration is made in the name of the representative member, which can be any entity elected by the group. That representative will be responsible for completing and rendering the single return on behalf of the group. What's important to note, however, is that all the entities are jointly and severally liable for any VAT debt. Now, in order to join or form a VAT group, you must meet certain conditions, namely that all of the members of the group must be related in accordance with the VAT regulations in Part 1, Section 7 of the Act. You must also note that registration as a group won't be allowed where a resident and non-resident business form part of the same grouping, or a Grand Bahama Port Authority licensee and an operation that is not a port licensee form part of the same grouping. With respect to VAT grouping, it is also important to note that it is optional and at the discretion of the VAT comptroller. Well, that's it for your quick tidbit on VAT registration. Remember that online registration began on October 13th, and if you don't want to be penalized, you should be registered by November 30th. Now, if you need more information, make sure to visit the government's website at www.bahamas.gov.bs/VAT or call the VAT Department Help Desk at 225-7280. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Look at it.